Welcome to today's deep dive. You walk through an airport or a massive retail space today, and you're just constantly surrounded by these glowing, pristine digital signs.
Oh yeah, they're absolutely everywhere.
Right. And we just accept it as part of the environment. The screens flawlessly loop these lifelike advertisements, and you rarely think about the invisible infrastructure making it all happen.
Yeah, we just see the message, not the machine pushing the pixels.
Okay, let's unpack this, because our mission today is to look directly at that hidden engine. Specifically, we're looking at the BrightSign XT1145-32GB media player.
Which is a bit of a mouthful, but yeah.
Definitely a mouthful, but it's this tiny piece of unseen hardware that sits right behind the screen, and it commands a price tag of over $1,000, like $1,013 to be precise.
And at that price point, you are looking at a device that outputs stunning 8K video, handles full-resolution 4K images, and, supports completely custom display resolutions with really unique aspect ratios.
Oh, okay.
It even has an HDMI input to pass through live TV or outside video sources directly onto the display.
But wait, why do we even need 8K just for a digital sign? I mean, pushing 8K requires massive processing overhead, and let's be real, most commercial venues don't even have 8K screens deployed yet.
That's a fair point, yeah.
I mean, to me, comparing standard 1080p signage to 8K is like looking through a dirty window versus just stepping outside. But is this just future-proofing, or are there actual use cases demanding this kind of output right now?
Well, what's fascinating here is that having 8K on a commercial display isn't just about rendering sharper pictures of a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
It gives you the pixel real estate to seamlessly divide a single screen into 4 independent 4K zones.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so you could have 3 zones running completely different graphic feeds, while that HDMI input pipes in a live television broadcast in the 4th zone, all without dropping a single frame.
That is wild. I always assumed a media player just played media, like a glorified DVD player looping a video file.
A lot of people think that.
But looking under the hood, the XT1145 is essentially acting as a high-powered, localized web server.
Exactly, and that is the core of what makes this device tick. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it natively supports full Chromium, WebGL, HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript.
So it's basically running web pages.
Yes. This means businesses can code live, database-driven animations right onto the screen instead of constantly rendering and uploading massive new video files every time a price changes.
So it's not a static slideshow. It's rendering a live, interactive web environment. And all of that data has to reach the box somehow, which brings up how efficient the physical installation actually is.
Right. The deployment is key.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. It stores all this localized data on a pre-installed 32GB microSD card, and it runs entirely on Power over Ethernet, or PoE+.
Which is huge. PoE Plus is a massive logistical advantage.
It's like getting your meals and your daily instructions delivered through the exact same straw, right?
Yeah.
One cable for power and internet.
That's a great way to put it. It means the device pulls its heavy internet data and its electrical power through one single Ethernet cord. You don't need to hire an electrician to install dedicated power outlets behind every single screen in a giant shopping mall.
That makes total sense for a sprawling airport installation.
Yeah.
But, so what does this all mean for the buyer? At $1,013, even with a 1-year BrightSign warranty included, this isn't a cheap piece of hardware.
No, it's not. But it highlights a shift in the market where buyers are clearly paying for the brain, not just the video output.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's why BrightSign built an entire ecosystem around this technology. Buyers have to scale their hardware to their specific interactive needs.
So you avoid paying for complex 8K web rendering capabilities if you just need to display a static list of sandwiches.
Precisely. If a business only needs to run a simple 1080p menu board, they can use the LS425 model for like $373. But if they need that absolute top-tier processing power and massive connectivity, they can step all the way up to the multiplex IO XT2145 for $1,213.
Got it. So the XT1145 sits right in that sweet spot.
Exactly. You match the processing overhead to the demands of the installation.
It really changes how you look at the architecture of these public spaces, doesn't it? Knowing that this incredibly versatile, powerful tool is just humming away behind the screen.
It really does. It's a totally different level of infrastructure.
But there was one detail in the capabilities that left me with a lingering thought before we wrap up. The source mentions you can integrate live camera feeds directly into the signage.
Yeah, that's one of the input options.
Right. Which gives you this to mull over as a listener. If these invisible media players can flawlessly integrate live camera feeds of the public in real-time 8K, how long until that completely blurs the line between a digital advertisement and an interactive mirror actively tracking our reactions?
It definitely changes the dynamic when you realize that digital window has the processing power to look right back at you.